What is up, awesome people of the internet? Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome to the awesome people of the internet Friday Hangout. We're going to have a good time talking about some women's basketball, and specifically, we're going to get into some SEC women's basketball because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the SEC. We're going to talk about South Carolina and their dominance, going back to the last time that they lost in SEC play, talking about whether or not we think that they may or may not lose in SEC play for the rest of the season. We're going to get into LSU, what's going on with them. Will they get it together by the time SEC tournament play happens, conference play happens? We're going to talk about Ole Miss. We're going to talk about Mississippi State and how these teams are teams on the rise and teams that you should be paying attention to for the future. We're going to talk about Tennessee and what's going on with them and like when we will see, what we will see from Tennessee going forward into conference play, because y'all, conference play starts in just a couple of weeks. We are almost towards the end of the season. And and there's a lot to talk about before we actually get to the end of the season. So yeah, we're talking SEC basketball today. Sure, we can get into other topics later, but the main focus of this stream is SEC women's basketball. So we're gonna get into it. I do want to just check in with y'all, see how y'all doing. How y'all doing? Frank is headed to the USC versus Stanford game. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, let's hope Lauren Betts is able to play. Let's hope so. Paris said, "Man, I done messed around and bet tonight." What, did you lose or something? But yeah, shout out to all the awesome people of the internet. This is our hangout. I figured, got a new look to this hangout. Figured we should make it special. If we're gonna gather together on a Friday, we got to make it a little bit special. So let me know what y'all think about the graphics in the lower third. JB says, "I'm so sick of these big time matchups on the West Coast not being nationally televised." Well, next year there will be, because the Pac-12 is no longer as of next year, and so we will see these Pac-12 games on TV channels that we can actually access. So that is something to look forward to next year, not this year. For this year, you kind of just have to deal with it, I guess. But thank y'all for joining in. If y'all could hit that like button, that would be awesome. Please hit that like button. What's up, Earlis? Hey, Michelle. Yeah, some Pac-12 basketball being talked about. We're gonna focus this stream on SEC basketball, but yeah, we can talk about other stuff as we get to it. All right, y'all, listen to James. James says, "Hey, like and subscribe." Yes. Oh, Paris is was betting on Pac-12 basketball. Hey, don't lose all your money, Paris. Don't lose all your money. I'm just saying. RC says the only team that can maybe beat South Carolina, in my opinion, is Ohio State. Maybe a puncher's chance. Yeah, we'll see. J-Spot Network says, "I'm early for once." welcome along. And yes, hello, awesome people of the internet. We are having our awesome people of the internet Friday Hangout. Yeah, when we do these live streams, I think I'm just gonna brand it awesome people of the internet Hangout. And we're gonna get into it. SEC basketball. Kimmy says, "Hey, Quita, watching from the UK." Whoa. Shout out Kimmy. What time is it in the UK? Let me know. What time is it in the UK? Brian says, I have me a nice margarita while watching this live." Nice. Well, enjoy. I mean, it is Friday, so, live it up, but not too much. JB says, "Yes, we need Juju on national television." Facts. Mia says they have Sling TV and they don't miss any Pac-12 games. Yeah, that's Yes, that is something that you can rely on for sure. It's Sling TV and also Fubo as well. All right, so y'all, we are getting into SEC women's basketball today because we're almost towards the end of the season. I don't know if you all have realized this, but we've gone through 20 games. Most teams have played 20 games so far in this season, and that means tournament play is upon us. Is almost here, and that also means before tournament play we get conference tournament play, and I want to talk about each conference. So we're going to start off with the SEC, and then we're going to have different lives talking about the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the ACC, all that good stuff. We're going to get into all of that soon. But first, I wanted to kick it off with SEC play because, y'all, the SEC, is going to have a really, really strong showing when it really comes down to the NCAA tournament. And I want to just sort of talk our way through it before we get there. So we start with the best team in the nation, the best team in the SEC, which is the South Carolina Gamecocks. They are 20-0 on the season. They have not lost a game. It's not totally looking like they will lose a game. The question is that I'm asking is do you think that they will lose a game this season? I'm not sure about that. And I wanted us to go back to the last time that South Carolina lost in SEC play. So you had to go all the way back to December 30th, 2021 for the last time that South Carolina lost in SEC play. 2021, y'all, was the last time South Carolina lost. They lost to Missouri. It was a 1-point game. They lost 69-70, and they were away in that game. And this game was on December the 30th, 2021. That was the last time South Carolina has lost in SEC play. And it just shows that stat alone just shows the dominance, the sheer dominance of the South Carolina Gamecocks. It's kind of amazing to sort of see how this team has absolutely dominated, and they've dominated from a lot of modes, right? They are able to play some really good defense. They are able to when they need to score, they're able to score. Now they have a lot more scorers on their team now than they have in the past. But defense was really the calling card for this team, and it still is. Also, they still have post play that is really dominant. Yes, before you had the likes of Aaliyah Boston. Now you have Kamilla Cardoso, who is making it work with Chloe Kitts and others who are just doing their thing for South Carolina in the post. And then you also have now this year you have shooters like Te-Hina Paopao. You have Bree Hall that's getting her shots off. Yes, she was on the team last year, but Bree Hall I think has hit another gear in my opinion for South Carolina, and we're really seeing it this year. You see Raven Johnson took it to another level. And it's really, really awesome to see the success, the sustained success of South Carolina basketball. And it begins and ends with the leader of the pack, which is Dawn Staley. And I do want to sort of talk about this season in particular and how dominant South Carolina has been. And if we take a look at the leaders, this is the SEC team leaders. South Carolina basically is tops for everything. When it comes to points per game, yes, LSU does have the edge there. But when it comes to field goal percentage, look, South Carolina number one, 51%. When you look at 3-point field goal percentage, South Carolina's number one, 41%. You look at rebounds per game. You look at assists per game. You look at blocks per game. It is South Carolina all day long. Yes, LSU does have more steals than South Carolina. They do have more points, but South Carolina is just dominating when it comes to SEC play. Yes, they're dominating in for the most part, all facets of NCAA life. Like they're just dominating all around, but specifically in SEC play, they are dominating. And these are SEC specific stats. Just so you all know. So it's sort of like you can't get much better than what South Carolina is doing. Like it's hard to imagine a team being more dominant than this. Because the field goal percentages sort of say a lot. They really do. They really do say a lot. The rebounds say a lot. Their ability to pass the ball and get good shots says a lot. And it's, it's a thing. It's a thing. And I wanted to show you all how dominant South Carolina has been. Not just sort of talk about it, because I know a lot of times, people talk about how good they've been and whatnot. Great. But let's see how good they've been. And these stats over here, they speak for themselves. They really do speak for themselves. To just show how good they have been in SEC play. All right, so I do want to get to some of y'all. Comments. RC says when Ashlyn Watkins and MiLaysia Fulwiley are like 5th and 6 points. Yeah. So yeah. When they get to scoring also, yeah, it's the other team is in trouble. basically. They are making history. They are. I think we can absolutely see an instance where South Carolina goes this year without losing in SEC play. And that would be, spanning 2 seasons, possibly going to 3 seasons where they do not lose in SEC play, which is it's just crazy, y'all. Like it is absolutely crazy. In the 2021-2022 season, they were 15-1 in conference play. And then last year, as we know, they were completely undefeated in SEC play as well, and also undefeated in regular season play. And this year, they are undefeated as well. They're currently 8-0 in conference play, and they are 20-0 overall. J-Spot Network says South Carolina is fire right now. Even when challenged, they've pulled out the win. Yes. And I will say, we can talk more about it if you all want. This Auburn game, the Auburn versus South Carolina game, the game was pretty close. It was pretty close. But when South Carolina got that zone, it was over. It was over, and it shows. I think it showed the versatility of this team, where it was sort of like, it was close game. Auburn was doing their thing, and then all of a sudden, Dom was like, okay, yeah, we going zone. Let's do this. We going zone. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe I forgot. I can't remember the last time they played a zone, or it could be that it's recency bias that I'm forgetting the last time I've seen this team play a zone. But the way they perfectly executed it, it was like, man, that's a good team. And then the game was basically over. The game was basically over once they got into that 2-3 zone. Like it was over, and it was cool to see. It really was. But y'all, we got over 150 people in the chat, but we only got 39 likes. If we can get to 100 likes, that would be phenomenal. That'll help more people find this channel. So yeah, if y'all can hit that like button. And thanks so much for joining for the awesome people of the Internet Friday Hangout. All right, let's get into more of y'all chats. So let's see. Eddie says the Gamecocks have 3 Ds: depth, discipline, and Don. Facts. Facts, man. Hey, Eddie, I think that's straight facts. Yeah. Brian says UConn game could get South Carolina, especially if they don't have Cardoso due to Olympic qualifying. Yeah. So we should be finding out, it should be confirmed soon what's going to happen with Kamilla Cardoso. But yeah, if Kamilla Cardoso is gone for a stretch of time, that could be difficult for South Carolina. But they do have the depth to sort of make that work, I think. But that will for sure be a challenge for this team. For sure will be a challenge. Kimmy says South Carolina is 100% winning SEC. Yeah, they are very, very deep. Very deep. Country says people taking all that South Carolina goodness for granted. Let Dawn cook. Let her cook, y'all. Let her cook. And they cooking. Hey man, they are cooking. Erlis says undefeated creates so much pressure come tournament time. Possibly, yeah, possibly. I think that for sure is possible. But I think it won't affect South Carolina much. So, yeah, Bree Wayne, absolutely. Yeah, Bree Wayne says they played 2-3 zone with Auburn and it was good. Suffocated the Auburn Tigers offense. It did. Yeah. Paris, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I really liked. It was the response from South Carolina, from Auburn sort of hanging with them for a while. It was phenomenal. Going to that zone and just sort of like buckling down and saying, yeah, this game is way too close. we're not doing this. We're not doing this. I thought it was kind of great. Yeah, Brian is shouting out the J-Spot Network for their streams as well. Yeah, y'all watch J-Spot Network's videos. I've seen a couple of them. I don't think I've seen a stream before, but I've seen a couple of your produced videos, J-Spot Network, and they're pretty great. So y'all look for more basketball commentary, J-Spot Network. I know RC's in here, and RC also makes videos as well. So shout out to all the people who are making women's basketball videos, and y'all please subscribe and please watch their stuff as well, because I think it's not that many of us that make content about women's basketball, and I think it's important for us to support each other along this journey, because we all win as basketball fans if there is more content around women's basketball. So shout out to all the content creators talking about women's basketball. Bree Wayne says they love each other, care for each other, and it shows by the way they play. Facts. I completely agree. Courage says they played so bad in the first half against Auburn, but they came back 10 times stronger. Yep. Yeah, and that's what Dawn will do. She'll be like, hey, y'all, get it together. This is not how we play. And they came out better and they made some stuff work. It really did. Country said mic drop on those stats. Yeah, I mean, stats don't lie. So I do want us to take a look at the rest of SEC play for South Carolina. And for us to kind of talk about what we will likely see from this team sort of going forward. So South Carolina does have a game against they do have a game against Ole Miss coming up, and I think that game should be really, really good. And again, that game should help to tell us a lot about this team, because South Carolina is a team that that is really, really good, but also Ole Miss is a team that is on the rise, and I don't want y'all to be sleeping. I really don't want y'all to be sleeping on what Coach Yo is doing at Ole Miss, because they're playing some good basketball over at Ole Miss. They really are, and I am very much interested to see their continued growth, because they're a team that in a couple years, as they continue to get recruits to come in, I think we're going to see this team be a pretty tough out. I think we're going to see them be a pretty tough out for other teams to go against, and we'll kind of see. But yeah, I did want to make sure to shout out what they're doing over at oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up South Carolina's schedule while I'm talking, but I don't think I could do two things at one time, I guess. I guess I can't do two things at one time. All right. I think I may have it. But while I'm getting my stuff together, y'all, if y'all can hit that like button, that would be amazing. Really, really helps more people to find the channel. All right, so let's take a look at South Carolina. All right, let's look at the rest of South Carolina's schedule. So as we can see here, they play Ole Miss on Sunday. This game is at 2 p.m. on ESPN2, y'all. So folks who are talking about not being able to watch some of the Pac-12 games, at least you can watch the SEC games. It will be on ESPN2 on Sunday. So they play Ole Miss. I think this is going to be a tougher game for them. I mean, sure, they're going to come out on top likely. But Ole Miss is no team to slouch at, and we're gonna talk specifically more about Ole Miss in just a sec. But they also play South Carolina also plays Missouri as well. They play them on February the 8th. Then they not an SEC game, but they do play against UConn. I would say one of the big highlights of the season. I am very much interested to see how South Carolina plays in this game. Yes, they should for sure beat UConn, but the question is Kamilla Cardoso going to be available for these games, or will she be out playing for Team Brazil? I don't believe Dawn has confirmed whether or not Kamilla Cardoso will be playing or not, but I think that will tell something for us. And then we also just continue on SEC play. They play Tennessee in Knoxville. And so Rickea Jackson will likely be doing her thing. This game is on ESPN. The game against Connecticut is on ESPN as well. Then they play Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, and then beginning of March, we get into SEC play. So that is what we have to look forward to, guys. That is what we have to look forward to for South Carolina. And I think it's one of those things that, yes, South Carolina likely will win the rest of these games for SEC play. But as I always say, I'm a broken record now. Anybody can get got. Anybody, including South Carolina. Will they get got? Probably not, but they can. They can if they don't show up. But I'm sure Dawn Staley is gonna, even if they don't show up, like that Auburn game in the first half, she's gonna get them together at halftime, and then they're gonna be good to go for the rest of the game. I am very much interested to see how they play without Kamilla Cardoso, assuming that she is gonna be over in Brazil or playing for Brazil for Olympic qualifying. Brian says, I think South Carolina is on a mission after the disrespect from last year, Final Four, and the comments that came out of that Final Four. This team is going to roll in March Madness. Yeah, I think they are on a mission. Yeah. I mean, it's revenge season for Raven Johnson for sure, and she has played very well. She has played very well for this team. They do have a good amount of newcomers as well, but overall, this is a very good team. This is a very, very, very good South Carolina team that every day it seems to look harder and harder for someone to get them. It is looking harder and harder for someone to get them. And, it can happen. It can absolutely happen. but it doesn't seem likely to happen. So we are going to roll on talking about other programs, but I do want to just see if there's anything else you all wanted to say about South Carolina before we move on to other teams in the SEC. So yeah, let's see what y'all got to say. Antonio says holding opponents field goal is number 1 too. Yep. Absolutely. Watkins is very, very talented. And Mia, you are right. Numbers don't lie. They don't. RC says South Carolina coached by Dawn Thanos. That is hilarious. That is really funny. RC, you always coming up with all the fun comments. Kalia says that I feel like Iowa might win the Natty. Really? Really. Nolan says, stat that came up last week, South Carolina's bench has only been outscored by opposition teams' 5 starters 5 times this year. Yeah, their bench is really good. They're a deep team. They really are. They really are a deep team. Sub-Zero says Raven Johnson's generalship is key to their team. Yeah, absolutely. This team is hers, and she's been playing like it, and it shows in their success. She is showing Raven is showing herself to be a true leader, and that is very, very evident from watching South Carolina play. Aubrey says, I still think Ole Miss and LSU are the 2 teams that can knock off South Carolina. Yeah, well, for the Iowa thing, we'll have to see in the NCAA tournament. For the SEC tournament, we actually might be able to see South Carolina versus LSU one more time. And I am curious, I do think I said it before that LSU and South Carolina game. I said that LSU had a pathway to win that game. They did. They failed. They didn't win. But I could still see a scenario where South Carolina loses to LSU. Will it happen? Maybe not. South Carolina still is the favorites. However, LSU, I think, does have the pieces to beat them. They don't have the bench. They would have to rely on their starters to basically not get in foul trouble and sort of be in it the whole time. But yeah, I could see it. Absolutely. Iowa, I don't know about Iowa beating them. I mean, you'd have to have a great game by sort of the other players on Iowa to actually be able to take down South Carolina. Yes, Caitlin Clark will do her thing, but Hannah Stokey needs to be able to do her thing and be able to contain Kamilla Cardoso and not get in foul trouble. You're going to have all around. You're just going to have to have a great game for Iowa, and I don't know. John said, Don, remember what Gino said about us playing like thugs? Oh, yeah. Though, I mean, sometimes my memory, I remember there being a lot of controversy about what Gino said, and there was controversy about what the Iowa coach said. I don't exactly remember exactly what they said, but I'm sure Don Staley remembers. I'm sure Don Staley remembers what is being said about her team. I'm sure. August said, you're easily the best content creator for women's basketball on YouTube. Everybody else is biased towards UConn, South Carolina. Their content becomes unbearable. I wouldn't say that's everybody, but I do appreciate the love. I really do. I try my best to make content that is as non-biased as possible. I know that we're human beings, so there comes a little bit of bias in everything. But when it comes to college in particular, I don't actually care who wins. And so I do try my best to be non-biased, though, I do get called biased all the time. But I do appreciate, really do appreciate that, August. I really do try my best to be as neutral as possible, but also show personality, and also just ensure that, like, talking about the women's game isn't boring, because it doesn't have to be. It could be fun. It could be passionate. It could have, we can be upset with each other and discuss it together in love, because, like, women's basketball is awesome, and I do want us to all be in it together, because we are in it together. So let's support each other. Let's hang out with each other, and let's talk about some more women's basketball, because that's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. And again, awesome people of the internet, I really do appreciate y'all taking the time on y'all Friday, y'all. This is Friday. The week is over. The work week, at least, is over. I do appreciate y'all rocking with me and joining this stream for the first edition of the awesome people of the internet Friday Hangout. I hope y'all like the graphics for this week. But yeah, I do appreciate y'all rocking with me. JB says the Ole Miss game is for sure a trap game for South Carolina, but Don will have them ready. Close game, but they'll pull away mid third in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Nell is, I assume, a South Carolina fan, said we ain't sleeping. Ole Miss almost beat us last year. Yeah. They're good. They're good. Sub-Zero said, did Quita play in school? Not in college. I did soccer in college. Well, my first year I did soccer in college. I played basketball like my whole life up until the end of high school. I was going to do basketball in college, but I was playing two sports. I was doing three sports at the time, but I was going to do either soccer or basketball in college, but I just felt I was too short to continue on playing basketball, so I just did soccer. So no, I did not play. I did not play in college. Basketball, at least. Let's see. Country says, I agree. There are some really good and underrated teams and players in the SEC. There really are some great players who don't necessarily get the shine in the SEC. And I do want to take a little bit of time right now to sort of talk about what some of these SEC teams are doing, because it really is cool to see. It really is cool to see. So I'm going to share my screen in just a sec, because I do want to talk about some of the other awesome things that's happening in the SEC, which includes the leaders, the stat leaders of the SEC. So when it comes to stats for the SEC, one thing I find very interesting is that when you look at points per game, you don't see any of the South Carolina players for the top five, right? So when it comes to SEC, you have Angel Reese leading everybody with 19.6 points a game. You have Aaliyah Matharu with the Florida Gators with 18.3 points a game. You have Leilani Correa, same with the Gators with 17.9. Aneesah Morrow with LSU, 17.9. And Haley Frank with 17.5. And I think this is another aspect of South Carolina's greatness, is the fact that they don't have to, like, there is not... Hit his dog go barking again. Hit his dog go barking. South Carolina is great because they don't have anybody scoring, 17 or more points a game. They don't, because the team is so spread out in their scoring that, someone can have an off game and they still be balling. Te-Hina Paopao is like their best shooter. However, she's not scoring a ton of points per game. Like she's not leading the SEC in terms of scoring, and that's fine because they still are successful because it's spread out. Their scoring is spread out. Their defense is a spread out defense for the most part. And I think that is something that you see with South Carolina. When it comes to assists per game, you see this right here. Pretty decent stats all around. Field goal percentage, of course, you have Kamilla Cardoso leading the way because, of course, she is like right at the basket, and so it makes sense that her field goal percentage is very high. For rebounds per game, you have Angel Reese leading the pack. And then we go to blocks per game. You got the dynamic duo of Kamilla Cardoso and Ashlyn Watkins, who are averaging 2.8 blocks a game. When it comes to steals per game, you have Vanderbilt's Jordan Cambridge with 3.8. Jordan Cambridge is good player. And also Vanderbilt is a really good team. We're gonna get into Vanderbilt more in just a sec, but yeah, those are some of the stats that I really wanted to sort of highlight. So all right, let's see what else y'all got to say. Wesley says LSU bench is dead. Kim said it herself. She's looking for the 8th man. She's still looking. She's still looking. Paris said no bleep. You missed the point. I don't know what point. Paris, I don't know what point you talking about. I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else in the chat. But clarify, Paris, clarify. Bree Wayne says, by the way, LSU got a whole bench just sitting there. Why don't they play that Velez girl? So it's because Kim Mulkey doesn't trust the bench yet. She doesn't trust the bench yet. And that's a problem for this team. That's a problem for this team. They haven't shown, I guess, enough for them. Like, Velez hasn't shown enough to actually really get playing time. And there was a press conference, I believe it was today, that Kim Mulkey did, and she talked about her bench a little bit in that press conference. And she also said, I'll save this for when we actually talk about. Actually, let's get into LSU right now. Let's get into LSU. We're gonna talk about. So we talked a lot about South Carolina. We're gonna talk about LSU and talk specifically about what Kim Mulkey had to say today. All right. Joshua says, what about the SEC team stats? Well, we went over the team stats earlier, but if you are joining late, here we go, right here. As we can see for the team stats, South Carolina leads basically everything. They are the tops when it comes to field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, all that stuff. South Carolina is dominating. Yes, when it comes to individual stats, they are not as dominant, but I think that goes to show how great of a team they are and how deep they are. Because when it comes to team stats, they are at the top, but they're not necessarily relying on individual people to do everything for them. And that's something that really does stand apart for this team. So yeah, I don't know if you joined earlier or not, but we did go over those team stats. So Joshua, hopefully that helps. All right, so let's get into some of the other teams in the SEC. So when we look at the SEC standings, we have South Carolina on top, as we were saying. They are 8-0 in the conference. We have Ole Miss and Tennessee tied for second place. And they both have a record of 6-2. Then we have LSU 5-3. Definitely not a stat that we were not a statistic that we were anticipating going into this season, but that is where we are. They are 5-3 on the season. Then Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Auburn, Florida, Missouri, Kentucky, and Georgia. So those are the standings for the SEC. And yeah, we're gonna talk about we're gonna get into some of these other teams because the SEC is not just South Carolina. The SEC has a lot of other teams that do have a good chance, a huge chance of making it in, first of all, making it in the tournament and also making some noise when we get to the tournament. So let's actually start with LSU, because it seems like LSU is getting a lot of talking about in the chat. So let's talk about LSU. So LSU is a team that initially coming into the year, we thought that, or at least I thought, and a lot of people thought that this team was going to be really good. But they go down to Colorado in their first game. They lose to Auburn. They lose to Mississippi State. They lose to South Carolina. And now this team is looking very, very different than what we expected to see from them early on. Yes, they are a team that had I would say, easy schedule, very easy schedule. And I think that sort of not being challenged as much has hurt them a little bit. We will see how the rest of the season goes, because it's not like they didn't do this last year, and they still found success in the end. But also, actually, while we're on the topic of LSU, shout out to the Chicago legend that is Aneesah Morrow. Today is her birthday. So shout out Aneesah Morrow. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great day. So yeah, I forgot that today was her birthday. I saw a notification about it. Anyway, let's get into LSU. This is a team that has some working to do. They have some serious working to do. It's not over for this team, because yes, they've had a bad go so far, but they weren't. I mean, they lost games last year as well. So last year, I mean, they didn't lose much at all. Last year they were 15-1 in conference play. LSU was. The only game that they lost was against South Carolina. And they were also 34-2 on the season last year. So they're a very different team from last year to this year. And they had a little bit of easy games to sort of start the season. And I think that has kind of hurt them when it has really came down to it, because they don't really have the experience together, and they're still trying to develop that. They're still trying to kind of get Hailey to be the point guard, though. I don't know if you all listened to Kim Mulkey's presser today, but she did hint to being very willing to move Hailey Van Lith back to a shooting guard position. So we likely will see Hailey Van Lith being a shooting guard as we get closer to conference tournament play, because that's her natural thing. So yeah, I did want to just sort of mention that, because I thought that sort of piqued my interest, because I was wondering when are they actually going to change their path, right? Like when are they going to actually move Hailey to a more comfortable position? And I think I believe Kim Mulkey said it was like POA, something about POA regarding eventually moving Hailey to the shooting guard position. So we will likely see it. Also, Samantha asks, who else did LSU lose to last season? They lost to South Carolina and they lost to Tennessee. So that Tennessee loss was actually during SEC tournament play, so that doesn't count towards their SEC regular season. But last year they lost to South Carolina in the regular season, and then they lost to Tennessee in tournament play last season. They narrowly lost to Tennessee last season. So yeah. All right, sorry about that. My dog starting barking. All right. So, Wesley says LSU had a bench who won the championship. Well, yeah, their bench was a lot better. Yeah. Brian says the drama over the program and the inconsistency of the program maybe too. LSU seems like a pat the stats team. They don't play team ball. That is an issue, and that has been an issue for this team. And I am very much looking forward to a scenario where they sort of get it together and they're able to play team basketball. All right, shout out to Brian for the super chat. Thank you so much, Brian. Brian says South Carolina will not, in all caps, lose this year. Brian, you may be right. But as I always say, any team can get got. Any team, you just catch them on a bad day, and the other team is lighting it up. A team gonna get got. So I'm just saying, doesn't seem likely that they're going to lose, but they can still lose. Let's see. Nolan says Vanderbilt played 2 really good first quarters against South Carolina. Last week they looked good. Vanderbilt is a good team. Vanderbilt is a team that I believe will actually make it into the NCAA tournament. We'll see, but I really do think Vanderbilt is good enough to make it to the NCAA tournament. I think we will likely see probably the first half or a good amount of this first half of the list making it to the NCAA tournament. So South Carolina, of course, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. I think all those teams will make it to the NCAA tournament because it just. Like the SEC is a really good conference. It really is. And we'll see Vanderbilt make it and make some noise. Let's see. Brian says Vanderbilt women's basketball is a surprise to me in the SEC. I like how they play. Yeah. Vanderbilt is let's actually get into Vanderbilt. Because this is a team that yes they lost yesterday. They lost yesterday to Ole Miss. It was a pretty close game, pretty good game. I think Vanderbilt is a team that maybe before the season started, people weren't checking for. At least I will be transparent. I wasn't totally checking for Vanderbilt. But they are a team that plays good team basketball. They are a team that plays hard and gritty, and they just fight it out, and they get the dub. Not all the time, of course. They lost yesterday, but overall, I think Vanderbilt's a good team. I really do think they're a good team. They haven't lost that many games this year. They're 17-5, not bad. When we look at some of the games that they lost this year, we'll kind of go through those right now. They lost to NC State. NC State is a tough team. They lost to NC State 62-70. So not a bad loss to one of the best teams in the country. Who else did they lose to? They lost to Missouri. Yes, they shouldn't have lost that game to Missouri. Yeah. I give them that. They shouldn't have lost that game against Missouri. That was they barely lost that game. They lost by 2 points in that game. Very, very close game. It was just they just didn't have enough oomph to sort of get them over the hump at the end of the game. But that loss shouldn't have happened. They lost to Tennessee. Makes sense. Tennessee is a very, very good team. And that sort of let them on a 3-game skid. So they lost to Tennessee, then they lost to South Carolina, of course. Then they lost to Ole Miss. not bad losses. Like if you look at all the losses that Vanderbilt has had this year, none of them are bad losses with the exception of that game against Missouri. That game, they shouldn't have lost. But all the other games, if you just look at Vanderbilt play, they're talented. They're a very, very talented team. And it just shows the depth of the SEC. Yes, we all talk about the Pac-12 and how the Pac-12 has a lot of parity and all that stuff. Great to talk about the Pac-12. Pac-12 is great. But don't sleep on the fact that SEC is a deep conference as well. And they will see a bunch of players make it to the NCAA tournament just because how good this team, or how good this conference really is. So I did want to talk about Vanderbilt and give them their flowers because they're a really good team. Aubrey said, hit that like button, everybody. So y'all listen to Aubrey. Listen to Aubrey and hit that like button. That would be much, much appreciated. I do appreciate y'all rocking with me. We are in our inaugural edition of Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout, y'all. This is a new thing that, we are all awesome people of the internet and we love to talk about women's basketball. So I was like, you know what? Let's make a theme of this. Let's make a theme of this. Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout. If you all enjoy these conversations, I think we may make this a weekly thing where every week on Friday, we will come here and talk about what's going on in women's basketball. We'll pick a different subject every week. Maybe I'll have you guys vote on what you all want to talk about. And then we'll just go through it. We will, of course, also have live streams after big games or as previews for big games. But I think having some sort of a hangout session where we can just have like a grab bag of sorts where we talk about a lot of different things. I think that's cool to do. And we're going to brand it as Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout, y'all. We gotta get some t-shirts for Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout. Paris says, I wonder who is going to get upset tonight. So we can actually do a quick segue. Yes, I know the stream is talking about SEC basketball, but there are some other teams playing right now, and I do just want to give you all a heads up about those games in the event that you all want to watch them. So at 9 o'clock Central Time, USC plays Stanford. This is going to be a really good game. I am very much interested to see who comes out on top. USC is a very good team. Stanford is an even better team. I doubt Stanford loses, but we will see. As I always say, any team can get got, so we will see. Colorado plays Washington State. Washington State likely will lose because their best player is out. Charlize Leger-Walker, she has, I believe, torn her ACL, so she is out. And so I think that will severely hurt this squad going forward. So I think Colorado does come out with the dub against Washington State. Also, UCLA plays Cal today. UCLA likely should win. Utah plays Washington. And Washington likely will lose to Utah. So I don't anticipate any upsets today. But we will see. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Also, Princeton is playing right now. Princeton is beating Yale 64-46. Princeton is number 25 on the list. Maybe in the future, if y'all want to, maybe we will do a Ivy League edition of the Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout, because the Ivy League, specifically Princeton, is looking really good. Looking really, really good. Let's see what else y'all got to say. August says LSU needs to switch Hailey and Mikaylah, move Hailey Van Lith to her natural position, and that's how they'll get more production out of her. I think they absolutely can do that. I think Hailey is going to her natural position as shooting guard, and I think they're gonna have Aalyah Poa as the point guard for this team. But we will see. I think Kim Mulkey has realized that this may not be working out. This experiment may not be working out because it's just hard to switch someone's position sort of after they've already really, really settled into their position. Hailey Van Lith is a shooting guard. Yes, it's going to take more than a year to move her over to a point guard because it's just not her natural position. Kentucky Lucky says, wishful thinking, LSU has some instant talent coming. Might not be as high on rankings, but very talented point guard and a three-point shooter. Good on defense. Yeah, so and Paris says, definitely want to talk about the new recruiting class. Yes. We can absolutely have a upcoming live stream about the new recruits because, yeah, it's some talented players that are coming out. And also, Sarah Strong still hasn't said where she's going. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to recruits. Even though it seems like UConn is probably the favorite on that front, but she hasn't absolutely decided yet. So yeah. Nookie 2.0 says if Rickea was still at Mississippi State, boy, they would be special. Also, don't forget Madison Hayes. Fact, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Rickea Jackson. If she would have never transferred, whew. Hey, Mississippi State would be doing a lot more ooh-wees. That is for sure. That is for sure. Kyra says tie-dye please for the t-shirts. Yeah. Wayne says get the t-shirts. I need to make them. Let's see. Bree Wayne says, yep, about Pac-12, Kiki and Cameron Brink are Kiki Ear-Offin and Cameron Brink are an unstoppable, scary duo. They are very good. Very, very good. And y'all, Kiki is the most improved player of the year. Absolutely the most improved player of the year. She has been phenomenal this year. Phenomenal. August says, LSU has one talent incoming, Jada Richard. Their best chance is the portal. Yeah, I mean, LSU is always going to make some noise in the transfer portal because they have a lot of donors and like NIL money that they could probably play around with and use to entice players to come there. But NIL is not everything. That is something that we have learned. NIL is not everything. Let's see. What else I got to say? Michael says, if Poa starts as point guard, who gets benched? Flau'jae? No, Flau'jae will not get benched. No. I think if Kim experiments with last year Poa as the starting point guard, I think Mikaylah comes off the bench. Yes, Mikaylah Williams is an extremely talented player that is a starter. However, having her sort of lead a bench sort of a push, I think would be very, very helpful for this team going forward. Because, LSU has experimented with their starting lineup before. So last year, Jasmine Carson started for a huge amount of the season. And then she got moved to the bench. And she didn't play that much. And then we went into the last game of the season and she balled out, to secure the dub for LSU. It's, Kateri Poole at one point wasn't in the starting lineup for LSU last year. Moves to the starting lineup. Like, Kim Mulkey has experimented with lineups before. She did it last year and it worked out for him. I think experimenting and seeing what, experimenting and kind of seeing what it looks like for Mikaylah to come off the bench, and give some instant production from your team. I think that could be very, very helpful. Sure, there's probably some work that they're going to have to do to make that adjustment, because again, Mikaylah Williams is a starter, should be a starter, but maybe for this period of time for LSU, they need her to come off the bench so that way Last year, Poa is the starting point guard. You have Hailey Van Lith, being in her natural position as a shooting guard. And then you have Mikaylah Williams coming off the bench, lighting it up. It will bring some fire to your bench and actually give you some bench scoring, because that's something that you severely lack. And maybe that helps them in the future. We will see. But that's my idea. But no, Flau'jae Johnson should never be benched for this team. No, absolutely not. Let's see what else y'all got to say. Bree Wayne says Poa ain't no better than Hailey Van Lith. Give Mikaylah the point guard position, makes better passes. Well, we'll see. Oh, dang, Brian. Brian says the way UConn can't keep players healthy, Sarah Strong should definitely choose South Carolina. Dang. I really don't think that this is an indictment on UConn's strength and conditioning department. I think it's just the players. It's just the players, And a lot of them have had injuries in high school. So I think that sort of compounds things as well. Robert says, "Hey Quita, how was your day? Go Gamecocks." Of course you gotta add the go Gamecocks at the end of that, Robert. But my day was great. Had a long day at work. But it's over. Now I get to watch basketball for the weekend and talk all about what's going on in the world of women's college basketball. So yeah, my day was great. I am thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner right now. I got to figure that out. Do I want pizza, or do I want to buy ground beef and actually cook something? It's a decision. I got all the ingredients for, I'm making, what am I making? I'm making shepherd's pie. I have all the ingredients besides the ground beef. So I'm trying to decide, should I go to the store to buy ground beef, or should I just buy pizza and buy the ground beef tomorrow and cook that tomorrow? So I don't know. That's my dilemma for the day. Let me know if y'all have suggestions on what I should do for my dilemma. August said, I agree. Mikaylah coming off the bench would make the most sense. We'll see what happens. We will see. Absolutely, Holly said Flau'jae is a silent assassin. Flau'jae is great, and the worst thing would be if Flau'jae came off the bench for this team. Let's see what else y'all got to say. Holly would also like to see Williams try point guard. Nookie 2.0. Funny name and funny graphic. Says I think you mean Poa is too slow to play point guard. Fatima says, for LSU, this is what happens when coaches can't develop their players. I get Hailey Van Lith is not naturally a point guard, but you can't just rely on recruiting talent. Yeah, but Hailey wanted to go there to become a point guard. I think it's hard to develop any player into another position in just a year. So I mean, I don't put that totally on their inability to develop players. But I do get your point, though. I do get the point you're making. Paris says, I think about Sarah Strong. If she was going to UConn, she would have announced it. I believe Dawn creeping in. She went to all her games, and Sarah and Joyce Edwards are good friends. Yeah. They did play each other. And we did see Dawn Staley there. So yeah. Robert says Chinese food. Michelle says pizza. Cammie says pizza and watch the Stanford game. Okay, Nell says pizza. Okay, so I guess pizza maybe it is. PJ says, when will they lose? Stop hating on South Carolina. PJ is just a title. is just a title to spark conversation. If you listen to the beginning of the stream, you would have heard me sort of talk about South Carolina and how good they've been, and how it's not likely that they will lose, but that anybody can get got. This is not me hating on South Carolina, so I hope that stops that narrative. But whatever, that's okay. I do appreciate you joining, PJ, for the chat. I really do. Thank you for hanging out with awesome people of the internet Friday Hangout. But I am not hating on South Carolina. Hopefully that clears it up. But if not, sorry. Queen says, "What's up with LSU and all these moral victories?" Paris is eating pizza now with lemon pepper ranch wings. That sounds good. That sounds good. JB says that they agree with Country letting Hailey Van Lith come off the bench as an offensive spark plug could go very well and be a good move for this struggling bench too. Yeah. I wonder about, I think Mikaylah would handle coming off the bench well. I'm not sure about Hailey Van Lith being able to handle that well. So I don't know. Brian says shepherd's pie sounds delicious. Mia is going with the pizza. Queen says Kim has Powell on a tight leash. She can't even cough wrong and come out. Well, yeah, she is on a tight leash. That is for sure. She is on a tight leash. Bree Wayne says pizza. So yeah, pizza it is. Ghostum says when would South Carolina lose? Not for a couple more years. If they make it a couple more years not losing, this is going to be all-time dynasty. I know we talk about the old UConn years of old where they would go where they went undefeated and they won like, what was it, was it 3 or 4 NCAA titles in a row, and they were just like dominant. We are getting there with this South Carolina team. We are getting to the next dynasty. When we had UConn balling, you had Tennessee balling, you had Notre Dame ball. Like, we're getting there with South Carolina. South Carolina may already be there, where they are just above and beyond better than everybody, and it's just a matter of how can you build your team around beating South Carolina? Similar thing to the WNBA, where the WNBA, I feel like when it comes to free agency and like who teams will be drafting in the draft as well, it's how can you put a roster together to beat the Las Vegas Aces? That's the question for all the GMs in the WNBA. And I feel like similarly, that is something that coaches are trying to figure out when it comes to getting in transfers, when it comes to getting in top level freshmen. It's about how can you build a team that can beat South Carolina? That's the question. That really is the question. I do see similarities when it comes to the WNBA and when it comes to women's college basketball, because South Carolina is the top dogs. Just like in the WNBA, the Aces are the top dogs. And everyone is looking to try to see what they can do to knock those top dogs off their pedestal. Kyra says PJ coming in hot. Yeah, PJ was coming in hot. He was. Bree Wayne says, Q, I haven't forgotten you always had LSU beating South Carolina, though. I did. I absolutely did. Yes. Coming into the season, I thought that South Carolina was going to lose to LSU. I continued to think that until like a week or two before they actually played each other, and then I was like, oh, I'm kind of softening my opinions about it, because LSU is not getting it together the way I thought they would get it together. And then the day before the game, I was like, South Carolina has it, but there is a pathway for LSU. I still think there's a pathway for LSU, but South Carolina has the edge. South Carolina has the edge because LSU still hasn't figured out how to win as a team. And South Carolina is a well-oiled machine, and you have to be able to play as a team against them. And that's something that LSU just couldn't do. So yes, I did have LSU beating South Carolina initially. But as the weeks went on, it became clearer and clearer that that's not gonna happen, So I am very much happy to admit when I'm wrong, and it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. But yeah, yes, Bree Wayne, calling me out on it. Yes, I was wrong on that front. I was. Paris says, please make a shirt anybody can get got. Yeah, anybody can get it. Yeah. I should. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, maybe I'll spend part of the weekend trying to design some stuff. Because I have some ideas for like awesome people at internet stuff for anybody can get got. Like there's a lot of sayings I feel like I say that we can turn into some merch because YouTube you don't get much money from YouTube at all. and yeah, being able to sell some merch could be kind of cool, and also it could provide us with a way to sort of signal that we are rocking with women's basketball. Kyra says, what is your go-to pizza order? It sort of depends. So I've been going to a spot called Marco's. It's a chain. I have no idea if Marco's is around the country at all. But I do go to a spot called Marco's. I usually get they have like this Old World pepperoni. It's like Old World pepperoni and regular pepperoni on a pizza together. So I would get that sometimes. They also have some like specials. Sometimes I get that. I am one of those people who the pizza I get is determined by the deal I can get. So I never pay full price for pizza ever. So I'm gonna probably go on the app and see what deals they have, and that'll probably determine what I order. But yeah. I'm a deals person. I rarely pay full price for anything, really. Shout out to Michelle for the super chat. $5. I really do appreciate that, Michelle. Y'all. I really do appreciate these super chats, y'all. I really do. But yeah, Michelle, if there's anything you want to talk about, let me know. Super chat people get priority when it comes to topics. So I'll Michelle, if there's anything you want to talk about, let me know. Dan says, so happy to see awesome people of the internet weekly chat. You're my go-to for all women's basketball news because of your unbiased takes and how much research you do. What a great college season to have found your channel. Well, Dan, I really do appreciate that. I really do. I try my best to put as much research as possible into my shows, specifically into my Monday shows. I literally spend, 10, 11 hours on just producing that show, doing the research, scripting out generally what I want to say, recording it, producing it, all that good stuff. I do it because I love it. I love the game of women's basketball. And I love engaging with y'all. So I really do appreciate y'all for rocking with me. And yeah, I can go on and on and on about how awesome you guys are, how grateful I am that y'all are in this tribe together. We are APOTI people. Awesome people of the internet. Shout out to all the people who are hanging out with us today. If y'all have not hit that like button, please hit that like button. That would be amazing. Nookie 2.0 says Hailey Van Lith should have stayed at Louisville or transferred somewhere. She could play the number 2 shooting guard. Yeah, but it's sort of like one of those things where maybe, but you can't go back. You can't go back in time. all you can do is deal with the situation that you're in and try to make it the best. Not that I'm saying that she's regretting it or not. I don't know. I think looking back on it probably made more sense for her to just stay at Louisville. However, she made the decision that was right for her at the time. And maybe she still thinks it's right. Who knows? Who knows? Sakim says, Quita, what I don't understand is if LSU, that's funny, LSU, last year's number one recruiting, why can't she use her bench? Just because you're good in high school does not mean that transfers over to college. Yes, she had the number one recruiting class and the number one transfer class. But, a player can be balling in high school. They come to college and their ranking is very high, but their play isn't necessarily getting them on the court. And I think that's what's going on with LSU's freshmen. That's what's going on. And had Samaya not been hurt, Del Rosario wouldn't really be playing it either that much. And so I think that's the thing. And the same thing with the WNBA. Just because players are balling in college doesn't mean they're going to be successful in the WNBA. It doesn't even mean they'll make a roster. That's for sure a thing. We saw it last year with Alexis Morris. Alexis Morris was a huge player that got LSU the national title. She didn't even make the team in the WNBA for the Connecticut Sun. Same thing with Monica Czinano. Monica Czinano was very, very good in college. Very, very good. When it came to post players, and went to WNBA, didn't even make a roster. It's a thing. Just because a player is good in terms of rankings and as good in terms of just like in comparison to the players that they're playing against, going to that next level, that's something different. That is something different. Antonia says LSU really misses Samaya. They do. They absolutely do. Kyra says, I'll take the Quita Love Sports logo and title for the shirt. Oh, nice. Appreciate it. Yeah, maybe I'll give a couple options. KLJ says, what is your puppy's name? Love you, Quita. Love you too, KLJ. I have 2 dogs. Not quite puppies. But one, he is a snoodle. His name is Mr. President. The other one is a Lhasa Apso mix, and her name is Princess, though her official name is Black African Princess. So I got a Black African Princess, and I got a president as dogs. Tiffany says we have one in Mississippi. Oh, Marcos, nice. Nell says you need way more views for the big money, but you doing good. Keep it up. Keep at it. It will come. Thank you, Nell. I appreciate the motivation. I really do. Art Dog has a Marcos also. Okay, so Marcos is a thing. Okay. Holly says we have one here in ATL. Mad basic though. Now I know it's way better pizza in Chicago. So here's the thing. As I said, I don't pay full price for stuff. We're gonna get into SEC basketball in just a sec for those who just joined. But I don't pay full price for stuff. So yes, the best pizza in Chicago is Illuminati's. I love Illuminati's. I love it. But it is too expensive for me. My budget does not work for Illuminati's. Illuminati's, I will be paying about $30 for a pizza, and I just ain't got it like that. I ain't got it like that. Maybe in the future. But yes, that is the best pizza. However, if I want pizza, just on a regular weekly basis, like today I want pizza. I'm getting cheap pizza. Marco's is good tasting pizza for the price. When I go to Marco's, I am spending about probably max $10, $11. Because I always get a deal. I always get a deal. Or maybe I'll splurge and spend $13 or $14. But yeah, and for like a medium or a large pizza, like, yes, there's better tasting pizza out there. But is it cheap? Is it affordable? Probably not. So that's why I go to Marco's. Be saving them coins. Let's see what else y'all got to say. Cedric says, "Hey, greetings, Miss Quita Love Sports. What's new? We win and lose. South Carolina is in the zone right now. Once they get going with what they do, it's over. For those playing them, enjoy. Peace." Fair enough. Let's see what else I got to say. Ooh, man, Holly going in. Holly says the bench ain't got it. Velez, always getting games with only 2 minutes left. Can't shoot. Del Rosario is soft. And Poa, the only bench they have. Man. Shots fired, Holly. Oh, man. All right, guys. I do want to I'm just scrolling through the rest of y'all comments. August says, "Man, the women's basketball scene is so toxic, especially towards LSU on Twitter. You're a breath of fresh air, Quita." Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Yeah, over here, I don't truly care who wins. I just love good basketball, and I just see what I say. I mean, I say what I see. I say what I see, I should say. Bree Wayne says, "Miracle Shepherd outplayed both LSU guards. It was crazy to see." So I think this is another example of what really stands out for SEC women's basketball is the fact that you have players like a Miracle Shepherd. And let's just go on to Mississippi State. Let's go on to Mississippi State to talk about Mississippi State, because that is the team she plays for. And Mississippi State, right now they are tied with LSU in the conference with 5 wins and 3 losses. And Miracle Shepherd is a huge reason as to why this team has been successful. We kind of, I don't know, like we're seeing a new thing when it comes to freshmen in the NCAA, where you just see freshmen balling out of control. You see it in the ACC with Hannah Hidalgo. You see it with Juju in the Pac-12. You see it with MiLaysia Fulwiley and you see it with Miracle Shepherd for Mississippi State. Miracle Shepherd is one of those players who, short, but she can ball. And I think that for those who don't know, Miracle Shepherd had she had like 28 points. No, she played 28 minutes. She had how many points did she have against LSU? Had 12 points against LSU. She's one of those players that, sure, she can score. She doesn't have to score to make an impact on her team. But yeah, she did play well against LSU. She did play well. Christopher says, and that is why Cheryl Swoop said what she said about Reese and Clark. Yeah. A lot of people were upset, or it seemed like online. It seemed like I saw a lot of people who were like upset with what Cheryl Swoop said, and I was like, okay, well, where's Where's the lie? She spoke straight facts. Like, college is different than the WNBA. It's a different ball game. Like, it just is. High school is different than college. You know, junior high is different than high school. Like, there's levels to this. And I think she was just stating that it's levels to this, and people was upset about it. I don't know why they was upset about it, but they was. Kyra says somebody send Quita $30 for some Illuminatis. Let's see. JB says, actually, we're still on LSU. We're about to head off of LSU and go over to Mississippi State. JB says LSU has to play Kent more. I mean, they have to play Kent and Velez more, because at some point, you just have to make a change. Whoa, Coco A. Shout out to Coco A, who just gave me a $20 super chat with the pizza emoji. So I guess it's Illuminati's today. Appreciate you, Coco. Illuminati's today, y'all. Let's see. What else? Oh my goodness. And wait, hold up. Did Coco did 2 super chats. Shout out to Coco, y'all. Coco did a $20 super chat with $30 in the comments, and then gave a $20 super chat with a pizza emoji. So shout out to Coco, y'all. Coco is the MVP of the night. We got pizza tonight. Illuminati's. Good Chicago pizza. And I am very, very excited about it. So yeah, shout out Coco. Appreciate you. Let's see. What else I got to say? Irvin says, let's do a little wine on Hangout Friday. You all can do wine. Absolutely. You all can do whatever you like to do. I do not drink, so I will not be having any wine. But y'all, if y'all want to pour wine while we chatting, that is absolutely fine, but I will not partake. Kyra remembers. Kyra said Quita don't drink, so I'll have hers. Yep. Have at it, Kyra. Have at it, Kyra. Michael says Hannah Hidalgo dropped 35 points last night. Yeah, it was against Georgia Tech, but still, yes. We're gonna get into Hannah Hidalgo and the stats that she is putting up in a future stream, because y'all, I think Hannah Hidalgo should be considered for National Player of the Year. I'm just saying. I am just saying. I know I don't think it's a popular thing to say. But I think she should be in the conversation. Am I saying she should win? No. I'm saying she should be in the conversation. Hannah Hidalgo should be in the conversation for National Player of the Year. We're not going to get that much into it, but I just want to say that. I just want to say that for the record. Shout out to DizFan9212, who gave a $5 super chat. Appreciate you. They said, can Hailey Van Lith be drafted this year, or does she have an extra year? The way that I hear Kim Mulkey talk about Hailey Van Lith, it seems like Hailey Van Lith is not coming back for another year. I have heard people talk about Hailey Van Lith having an extra year. However, I think she came to LSU with the assumption that she is only staying 1 year. So I think she's going to go into the WNBA draft for this season. But actually, let's actually just look at I'm gonna go to LSU's website and see how many years they have on Hailey Van Lith. So they have her listed as a grad student, And in terms of seasons, they have her with 4 seasons. So I guess she does have another year. I guess she does have another year. For LSU. So let me share my screen. I can show you guys what I'm looking at. All right. So this is Hailey Van Lith's profile on LSU's website, and you can see right here, she's in her 4th season, right? So she had three seasons at Louisville, and she's in her 4th season at LSU. She is a grad student, but that's just because she is smart and she's very smart, and she was able to finish 4 years of schooling in 3 years. So you know, if basketball doesn't work out, you know, Hailey's a smart girl, so she'll be fine, even if basketball doesn't work out for her. But yeah, so she is in her 4th year in women's college basketball. So yes, I do believe that means that she does have another year of college basketball because of that COVID year. So will she return for next year? I don't know. I think that where's your question? Here we go. Back to DisFan9212's question. So they asked, can Hailey Van Lith be drafted this year? Yes, she can be drafted this year. And it looks like she does get an extra year because she's only played 4. This is her 4th year of women's college basketball. I think she enters into the WNBA draft. But it seems like she can stay if she wants to. I think she needs to stay for another year. But I think she's going to enter in the WNBA draft. She likely will get drafted. The question is she actually going to stay on a roster? That's the big question. That is the big question. Is she going to stay on a roster? So that it depends on what team drafts her. But the chances aren't that high because, again, there's still only 144 roster spots maximum in the WNBA, and she's going to have to outwork a lot of vets, and I'm not sure how that goes down. So that's my opinion. But yes, she can be drafted. She will be drafted if she actually opts for the draft. Will she make a team? Another question. That's another question entirely. She can come back for an extra year. I don't think she's planning on coming back for an extra year. I think she should come back for an extra year, but I don't think she will. The way I've heard her talk about this, and the way that I've heard Kim Mulkey talk about this, is that this is Hailey Van Lith's only season at LSU. So, yeah. But thank you so much, DizFan9212, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Danae said, what did you think about the free agency special? So here's the thing. I didn't even know there was going to be a special. And unfortunately, I did not record it because I didn't know it was coming. So I found out after the fact that it was a special, and maybe someone's put it on YouTube. I haven't seen the special on YouTube. So if it is on YouTube, someone let me know. Send me a link and I'll watch it. But I have not watched it so I have no thoughts about it because I haven't watched it because I didn't know it was happening. I noticed that I got a message from the WNBA app like several hours after it aired. I mean, it came through in real time, but it was like during the workday, and I have all my notifications like silenced, so I didn't see it until like it was like hours after it happened, and so I have no thoughts because I didn't see it. But if it is on YouTube, someone let me know, and I'll find it and watch it. Ghost Ham says, where do you think Sarah Strong ends up? I don't know. I think it's between UConn and South Carolina. She has a friend that's going to South Carolina, and it felt like originally UConn was like her number one choice. So I think that is for sure a favorite. Yeah, Nikki 2.0 says, how good was D. Rogers at DePaul before going to Mississippi State? Y'all, Rogers was good. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about her. For DePaul, it was all about Aneesah Morrow. As it should be. Because Aneesah Morrow was a phenomenal player. But D was also a really good player as well. And I think that she kind of got the short end of the stick in terms of popularity and whatnot, and just sort of like people knowing her name and like whatnot. But her going to Mississippi State, smart decision. Smart decision. I think she works really, really well with their system. And Sam Purcell loves her, and she's doing phenomenal. So, shout out to those DePaul girls who have left DePaul and are doing really, really good things. So yeah. For Mississippi State, we can get into that. Sam Purcell is a phenomenal coach. Phenomenal coach. He is still pretty early on in his career as a coach for Mississippi State. We all remember how good Mississippi State used to be in the past. And then they kind of hit a lull of sorts. And Sam Purcell is really starting to build something with this team. Will Mississippi State be in the NCAA tournament this year? Yes, I do think they do end up in the tournament. And I think they can surprise some teams, though I'm not betting on them to surprise. One, I don't bet. But if I did bet, I wouldn't bet on them. I would not bet on them sort of beating a bunch of teams in the NCAA tournament to sort of make their magical run. But I do say in a couple years, I give it another 1 or 2 years. Y'all, Mississippi State is going to be one of the top teams that people talk about when they talk about the SEC. Right now, all the talk is South Carolina, LSU, maybe Tennessee. That's the talk for the most part. Mississippi State, give them a couple more years. They are building something special. They are building something so special. And I think that y'all better just watch out. Y'all better watch out and say ooh-wee, because that's what they say at Mississippi State. That's what they say. They say ooh-wee. And yeah, we about to see some good basketball from Mississippi State. So yeah, we saw that sort of coming out party of sorts when LSU lost to Mississippi State a couple of days ago, and that was sort of like the big thing. And then I feel like that was a wake up call for some folks to pay attention to what this team is doing. And it's just gonna compound because he's gonna start getting those incoming freshmen to choose Mississippi State because they're gonna see what they're building. They're gonna see what they're building. I think Mississippi State and Ole Miss are in a similar position. They're teams that are building. And we'll kind of see what happens in the next couple years. But I absolutely see Mississippi State, yes, being a factor this year in the NCAA tournament. Same thing for Ole Miss. But in years to come, we're gonna see both Coach Yo and we're gonna see Coach Purcell doing their thing and really continuing to build on the legacy that is the SEC conference, and not just being good in the conference, but being dominant in the NCAA as a whole. We got 2 shout outs, 2 super chats. Shout out to Nolan for the super chat. Thank you so much, Nolan, for that Canadian $5. Nolan says, and a shout out to Jalen Sherrod, who I heard this week is working on her 2nd master's degree, and she's a baller, much inspired. Yo, Nolan, I didn't know that. Thank you so much, Nolan, for sharing that with me. I did not know that that Jalen Sherrod was getting her 2nd master's degree. Man, y'all, shout out to Jalen Sherrod. If I was like, maybe I gotta be like the Breakfast Club and get a clues bomb so I could drop a clues bomb on that for Jalen Sherrod. Shout out, man, that's awesome. Y'all, we got some smart basketball players here. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Nola, for letting me know that. Disfan9212 gave another super chat. Appreciate you. Says SEC women's basketball is growing from the days of Pat Summitt. Yes. R.I.P. Pat Summitt. Pat Summitt was the best, in my opinion, the best women's college basketball coach ever. I would say the best coach ever. Had she not dealt with dementia, she would have have been exceeded what Tara Vanderveer just set in terms of the winningest coach ever. She was phenomenal. Has truly built a coaching tree legacy. Maybe for a future either live stream or a future episode of Women's Basketball Weekly, I will do a segment all about the Pat Summitt coaching tree, because y'all, the Pat Summitt coaching tree is a big tree. It is a huge tree. It's like one of those like if you go to like the West Coast and you go to like the forest and whatnot, and you see those like huge trees that are like so wide and so tall. That's the Pat Summitt coaching tree. That is the Pat Summitt coaching tree. Like her tree, like it's amazing how many former assistant coaches turned head coaches to how many players turned coaches is on the tree. Like it is truly phenomenal. So y'all, rest in peace, Pat Summitt. Truly amazing legacy that she has left on the SEC, on women's college basketball, on basketball period. Because yeah, Pat Summitt is amazing, and yeah, I will be doing a future either segment or live stream about the coaching tree, because y'all, that coaching tree is deep. That coaching tree is very deep. And yeah, we are returning back to we are kind of returning back to the days of old when the SEC was top dogs. Bree Wayne says, yes, it's called Yabba Dabba. Yeah. So Sam Purcell also does say ooey. He also does say ooey. But yeah, he is saying Yabba Dabba. Yabba Dabba, and then it's Yabba Dabba, and then during the game on ESPN, I think it was Carolyn Peck that wanted to say Yabba Dabba Doo. Yabba Dabba Doo. It was Scooby Doo in here. But yeah, shout out to Mississippi State and what they are building. Also, shout out to Ole Miss and what they're building as well. It's a thing with this with Mississippi, y'all. They serious about some basketball. They are serious about some basketball. Nolan says, check out Jalen on Hailey's podcast from last week. She discusses it. I'll check it out. Also, y'all, yes, Aaliyah Boston is doing her thing with Peacock and the Big Ten Network and all that good stuff. Haley Jones is killing it with her podcast. I did not listen to the one with Jalen Sherrod, but I will. But y'all, these younger players are really getting into media, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And then you also have Lexi Brown that's on Gilbert Arenas' podcast as well. Like, we're seeing players really embrace new media and also traditional media as well. And I love it. I love it because it just gives them an additional income stream as well. And hey, they got stuff to say. So yeah, shout out to Haley Jones, shout out to Aaliyah Boston, shout out to Lexi Brown, shout out to all the players who are doing their thing from a media standpoint. Killing the game for sure. Let's see what else y'all got to say. The Tyga says agree regarding Pat Summitt. Yep. Great women's basketball talent in the state of Mississippi. It's been that way for years, but I think players have like gone to other schools, right? But now in the state of Mississippi, they're now like people are choosing them. I mean, they used to, like we've seen Mississippi State be successful in the past, but like it feels like now it's a resurgence of sorts. Michael says, Yes, Hailey is a monster. Hailey was a color commentator on the Georgia Tech versus Notre Dame game last night. Yeah. Man, shout out to Haley Jones. She doing her thing. This fan, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. This fan 9212 says, I thought Mississippi State executed their game plan very well when they played University of Kentucky, especially that last play in regulation before going into overtime. Now, I don't remember that game. the Kentucky Mississippi State game. Maybe I watched it. I just don't remember. But I take your word for this fan. I guess I should go back and look at that. Y'all, there's so much women's basketball that's happening. That, I try to watch every second. But I can't watch it all. But thank you so much, this fan 1912. That will remind me to go back. I need to go back and take a look at that game in particular and how that game ended. Tony Cabbage's Talk, I think, says there is a basketball player at Rutgers who is getting her doctoral degree in May. Wow. Man, y'all. Women's basketball got some smart players. Y'all, we got the talent and the smarts to come with it, man. Hey, man. Shout out. I don't. Maybe I can Google who that player is from Rutgers. But that is awesome. Yeah, shout out, man. That is pretty great. All right. We have been going on this live for an hour and 40 minutes. So I do want to do a time check to see how everyone's feeling. I do want to see a time check to see how everyone's feeling. JB says, love Haley Jones podcast, a great listen. Facts. If y'all haven't listened to Haley Jones podcast, listen to it. I didn't listen to the Jalen Sherrod episode, so I'm behind clearly. But it is a great listen. So y'all support women's basketball players who are doing their own thing. Support them. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that game was last night. Yeah, I didn't watch that Mississippi State game last night. Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch. Nikki 2.0 says it was last night. Mississippi State won in overtime. They were losing by 5 points with 35 seconds to go. Wow. All right. Y'all, drop on a clues bomb for MASH 2031. I don't have a clues bomb, but if I had one, drop it. They started late and had to listen on 2 times speed to catch up. Y'all, MASH, dude, hey, shout out to you, man. Yeah. But I will say, I do listen to everything on two times speed. I listen to everything on 2 times speed. It's gotten to the point where a random note about myself. I watch I don't know if y'all watch her, but I watch Lovely T on YouTube. And I've been watching her for years. But I always listen in 2 times speed. And it was recently that for some reason I turned off 2 times speed or like something. And I went to one of her videos and she has a theme song and it felt so slow. I was like, man, do I got this at 0.5 speed? And it was regular speed. But since I've heard that her theme song and her talk on 2 times speed for so long that I thought that was the regular way that the song went and her speech went. And then when I heard it in regular speed, I was like, man, this is slow. So then I went back to turning on 2x speed. Yeah, I watch everything on YouTube in 2x speed. Yeah. Vic said tea sipper. Yeah, I am a tea sipper. I am a tea sipper. That's a lovely tea reference for y'all who don't know. That is a lovely tea reference. She is big on YouTube, and yeah, I've been following Lovely Tea since I was I don't know, for years, since before she ever got to like 75,000 subscribers. I was following her, and now she's like almost at 1 million or something like that. So she's killing it, and like that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to aspire to be like Lovely Tea. Shout out to Lovely Tea, for sure. She I don't think she's into sports at all, but but shout out to her. Yes. All right. Country says you got to get to Vanderbilt, Alabama, and Arkansas. So yes, let's get into it. So, yeah, first, who do we want to go to first? I think we want to go to Vanderbilt first. Yeah, let's go to Vanderbilt first. So, Vanderbilt is, I actually can't remember. Did I talk about Vanderbilt earlier? Maybe I didn't. Anyway, actually I did talk about Vanderbilt earlier. I think I did. Yeah. So Vanderbilt is a team that is currently 4-4 in conference play. And Vanderbilt is a team that is like very, very good. I think that one of the things about Vanderbilt is that they don't have any big names at all. Like I don't think they have big names on their team. But when it comes to just getting the job done and playing team basketball, they got that. They got that by a long mile. And I think that's some of the stuff that sort of separates good teams from great teams. You have Jordan Cambridge, who is very good. Probably, I would say, the best player on the team. But it's not just her, It's not just one player, because she only averages, I think she averages like less than 14 points a game. And Vanderbilt has won quite a few games so far off the backs of the collective. And I think in a similar way, yes, they're not as talented as South Carolina, but in a similar way to South Carolina, where it really is sort of a winning by committee. And I think that's what's going to help Vanderbilt be successful in the future. Yes, they will make the NCAA tournament, in my opinion. They will make the NCAA tournament. Will they get out of the first round? I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think they're talented. And the thing to note about Vanderbilt is they have quite a few lower classmen on their team. And so as we sort of get closer to the future, they're going to be a good team. Yes, their best player, Jordan, is not. I believe this is her last year. I believe this is her last year in college. But you do have quite a few freshmen who are doing their thing, and I think that as the years go on, maybe Vanderbilt will also be in the conversation with Ole Miss and Mississippi State. But I do think that Vanderbilt is a team that y'all should be watching. I do think that they will make it to the NCAA tournament. Will they make it far? No, I don't think so. But they will make it, and that is a win. In my book, I think that's a win. And as I always say, anybody can get got. And Vanderbilt, if you're going to get got by any team, it might be Vanderbilt. It might just be Vanderbilt. So this is a team that let's kind of take a look at their upcoming games, because I do think that we may see LSU get got again. We may see it. Let's go to Vanderbilt's upcoming schedule. So when we take a look at this, they play Alabama on Monday. Then they play LSU on Thursday at home, might I add. So that is going to be a thing. Then Then they play Georgia, Texas A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and Georgia. So in terms of Vanderbilt's upcoming schedule, I think they will beat just about. I think they'll beat just about every team that they play, with the exception of LSU. I think LSU should win that game, though Vanderbilt can get them and come out with the dub. I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely at all, but they can. They're a talented team. I also think they will lose against Tennessee, but I think that should be it. They should roll past just about everybody else. But yeah, Vanderbilt's a really good team. And y'all don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Even though they don't have the top-notch players, or they don't have the, I shouldn't say they don't have the top-notch players. Even though they don't have the most recognizable players, they're still a really good and talented team. When it comes to Alabama, I think they're all right. Coach Christie, what's her name? Christy Curry. I always forget her last name. Coach Christie is the coach for Alabama, and I think, I don't know. I put more weight on Vanderbilt making the NCAA tournament and being very, very successful, or not very successful, just making the tournament and possibly upsetting someone. Alabama is a team that, yes, is very good as well. But I think there's a separation between Alabama and Vanderbilt. I have to admit that I have not watched a ton of Alabama games this year. I haven't. They're a good team. But they may eke out into the NCAA tournament. But I think if they do make the NCAA tournament, they'll be a later seed for sure. But my opinion may change on Alabama because they do play Vanderbilt, soon, right, on Monday. So I think them playing against each other, I think that'll kind of tell me what team is better. Is it Vanderbilt? Is it Alabama? But yeah. Let's see. What else is there to talk about when it comes to the SEC? Mash says if Vandy is like a 6 seed, they will have a chance to get the field of 32. Next Day Air says Vanderbilt is nice. Watched them the other day. Welcome to the party, Next Day Air. Welcome to the party. And Next Day Air said, happy birthday to Niece the Beast, number 24. Yep, I did. Next Day Air, I did give a shout out to Aneesah Morrow for her birthday today. Looks like there's conversation about Caitlin Clark in the chat. Do we want to go to talking about Caitlin Clark, or do we just want to keep with the SEC? Let me know, y'all. Also, I'm gonna have to order this pizza pretty soon. So there's so Kyra says, and I think you forgot to talk about Tina Charles yesterday. I probably did forget to talk about her. I mean, we can talk about her now. If you all want. We can talk about, I feel like for the most part, I've gotten through what I wanted to say when it comes to the SEC. So, question to the chat. If y'all can let me know, do we want to talk about, what do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about, WNBA and free agency? Do we want to talk about, Caitlin Clark? Because it seems like there's conversation about Caitlin Clark and whether or not she'll make it into the WNBA. Or not make it into WNBA, be successful in the WNBA. So let me know, guys, in the chat. Do you write CC if y'all want to talk about Caitlin? If y'all want to talk about the WNBA, and Tina Charles and the free agencies, just write WNBA. So if y'all could, we could just do a quick poll so I can find out what y'all want to talk about, and we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna hit it quick, and then we are going to move on with our day because you all have a life to live, and I have pizza to order. So what are we talking about, guys? Let me know in the chat what we talking about. What we talking about today? So it looks like people are saying no about Caitlin Clark, so we will not be talking about Caitlin Clark. All right, no Caitlin Clark. All right, no Caitlin Clark. So folks who wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark in the chat, sorry, we will not be talking about that on this live stream. We can do another one. We can do another one later to talk about that. All right, so we are going to talk about the WNBA. We are going to talk about the WNBA. All right, thank y'all so much for doing that informal poll of sorts. Appreciate y'all. Pam says, did you hear what Michael Porter Jr. said about the WNBA? I did not. Let me see if I can find it real quick. What did Michael Porter Jr. say about the WNBA? All right, so it looks like I got an article pulled up. So, all right, so this says Nuggets Michael Porter Jr. admires Breanna Stewart's game and her shoes. Oh, great. It's a Twitter post. All right. So this says, inspired by the Porter's family love for women's basketball and legacy in hoops, Michael Porter Jr. is playing in Breanna Stewart's Puma signature shoes this season. He said, I've always admired Stewie's game back at UConn. You have guys wearing women's shoes, and it's usually the other way around. He said, we want to bring more awareness to the WNBA and give those women the flowers they deserve. That's awesome. That is awesome. Great news. Yeah, I think that is great. I don't know if this is the article y'all were talking about. But yeah, shout out to Michael Porter Jr. for wearing Stewie shoes. And also, he's also signed with Puma, so that's a thing as well. Oh, Pam says that's not it. Okay, what is it then? It's on Twitter from The Pivot. Okay. So, I don't think I can show The Pivot without getting a copyright. So, how are we going to do this? Like the Pivot podcast? That's where it's at? Or maybe I'll look into that one later, and we can get into other. I put the link. You put the link? Where is the link? Pam, I do not see a link in the chat, but that is okay. I can always look at it later, and then I can do like a separate segment or something to talk about it. JB says, Quita says, this channel is a democracy with the quick poll. Yep. Yeah. I'm very democratic. I'm very democratic. All right. So let's talk about the WNBA, and let's talk about the free agents that have made some noise in the WNBA. And the first one mentioned was Tina Charles. So I will talk about Tina Charles first. So Tina Charles is on the Atlanta Dream. Tina Charles is making her return back to women's basketball in the WNBA to play for the Atlanta Dream. She is currently playing, I believe, in China right now. She is playing in China right now. I do remember covering her playing in China in a earlier edition of Women's Basketball Weekly. If you didn't catch it, you should make sure to Make sure to watch Women's Basketball Weekly, because I update you all on what's happening in women's basketball period, even around the world. She is currently playing in China right now. She's balling. And right now she's been signed with the Atlanta Dream. And to me, I am very much interested to see her make her return back to the WNBA, because Tina Charles was a baller in the WNBA. Yes, she did sort of have the weird that weird issue with Phoenix where she's sort of had a where she left the team basically. And I have wondered since then, like what Tina Charles looks like back in the WNBA. I am very much for players making their return. I think it's great. It's a great thing about the WNBA how a player can be out of the league for a while and then come back and be welcomed with open arms and really be able to move the needle for their team. Let's take a look at Tina Charles's profile on WNBA.com right now. So when it comes to Tina Charles, why does this? Okay, there we go. Move me over. All right. So when it comes to Tina Charles, over her career, she's averaged 18.2 points a game, 9.3 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. Amazing stats. Absolutely amazing stats. And with those stats, you may be wondering, why? What happened? Why did she why did she leave the WNBA? Like why was she not on a team? And I would say that's a good question. When it comes to Tina Charles, I think fit matters a lot for her. I think it absolutely matters. She was drafted in 2010 as the number 1 pick and was phenomenal for several years. And I mean, has been phenomenal for a long time in the WNBA. And as a player, it's sort of like one of those things where her stats speak for themselves. They speak for themselves. But it's a question of how does she fit with a team, and I feel like Tina Charles has gotten a bad rap. And yes, she was with Phoenix for a little bit. Phoenix in general is weird, I would say. And Skylar Diggins-Smith had an issue there. Tina Charles did too. So I wonder if maybe some of that wasn't really on Tina Charles at all, and it was just the situation, But I am very much happy to see her back in the WNBA. She has been balling overseas. But my question is, like, how exactly does she fit with this team? And 2, what version of Tina Charles will we see? Stats don't lie. She's a great player. But how exactly does she mesh with what Atlanta is trying to do? I am not sure. I would say the jury's out on that one. But I am very much happy to see her back in the WNBA. And I'm interested to see. I'm very much interested to see how she fits on the Atlanta Dream. I do want to just show you all the other transactions that have happened. I do want to show you all this. So this is as of this morning. Is this too small? Here, let me try to. Yeah, there we go. All right. Hopefully that's big enough for you all to see it. So as of today, the Chicago Sky have renounced their rights to Astu Dufall. So this makes sense because I don't think Astu is coming back to the United States to play in the WNBA. We'll see, but she hasn't played for the last couple years. I believe she had a baby as well. So shout out to Astu Dufall. But the Chicago Sky have renounced their rights to her. And
Sydney Weiss has signed a training camp contract with Connecticut Sun. Same thing for Kiana Smith and Rena Davis. I don't know this person. I do not know this person at all. Virag Kiss signed with the LA Sparks. Taylor Mikesell also got a training camp contract with the LA Sparks. Monique Billings, all right, is back and signed a contract with the LA Sparks. Kiana Traylor, all right. I will say, y'all, I do like Kiana Traylor. Kiana Traylor is a player who I think is very talented. She was drafted by the Chicago Sky. We didn't keep her, unfortunately. We just didn't have a roster spots. But I think she's a talented player that I think can make it in the league. And I hope that this year is another opportunity for her to make it in the WNBA. Liz Dixon is also signed with the Minnesota Lynx training camp contract. When it comes to the LA Sparks, we talked about this yesterday, but I'm just gonna go down the list and let you all know what has happened. And so these are all just official things. There are still rumors about who's gonna go where and all that good stuff, but here are the official things that have happened. Kia Stokes has signed with the Las Vegas Aces. Megan Gustafson and her dog Pancake is with the Las Vegas Aces as well. Sydney Colson is back, but her agreement is a training camp contract with the Las Vegas Aces. Morgan Jones also contract with the Las Vegas Aces. Kalani Brown is back with the Dallas Wings. I think it's a great great pickup for the Dallas Wings. Kalani Brown and Tierra McCowan is just. That's a hard duo to go against. that is a hard duo to go against when you're going against the Dallas Wings. We also have Bridget Carlton signing a contract with the Minnesota Lynx. Same thing with Atlanta Smith and Courtney Williams. Y'all, Minnesota is trying to be like Chicago 2.0 or something. I don't know. They get Kiana Traylor. We had her last year and waived her. We had Courtney Williams. We had Atlanta Smith last year, and they got them. So. Minnesota's doing something interesting. Satu Sabally also re-signed with the Dallas Wings as well. That's great news for Dallas. Absolutely. They're keeping their core together for at least one more year. Thank you so much, Holly, for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Holly says, happy Friday, Quita. Well, happy Friday to you, Holly. Happy Friday, guys. And also, happy awesome people of the internet Friday Hangout, y'all. If y'all enjoy this thing, let me know. This is a democracy of sorts. So if y'all want more of these Friday Hangouts, just let me know and I will make them happen. So shout out to y'all for joining me. And y'all could be spending y'all Friday anywhere in the world, but y'all are on the internet hanging out with the awesome people of the internet. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. And Michael followed up with a comment that says, yes, Dallas Wings, Twin Towers, Satu the Unicorn. Yeah. Dallas has been a team on the rise for a little bit. And the fact that they're keeping their core together for a little bit more time, I think that's exciting. If you're a Dallas Wing fan, you should be very excited about what has happened with your team. You should be very, very excited. Now, the question is, what additional piece can Dallas get to sort of move the needle against a team like the Las Vegas Aces? Because as I mentioned earlier, I think that this is what teams are looking for. They're looking, to get better, but the ultimate goal for these teams is to beat the Las Vegas Aces. How do you build a team around beating them? And I think Dallas probably just needs another piece to make that happen. Carly Samuelson has signed a contract with the Washington Mystics. Lindsay Allen has signed a contract with the Chicago Sky. So as y'all know, I am a huge Chicago Sky fan. So I am now a fan of Lindsay Allen. So I am very much looking forward to see what she can do with the Chicago Sky. Overall, there's been talk about the Chicago Sky and how they weren't able to really get anybody. They got Lindsay Allen, but like we were really, really trying. It was a swing and a miss for us getting Skylar Diggins-Smith. ultimately, I think what it came down to for the Chicago Sky is that the fact that we don't have the amenities that other teams have. Seattle has their own practice facility, state-of-the-art practice facility. Las Vegas has a state-of-the-art practice facility. When it comes to the Phoenix Mercury, when it comes to the New York Liberty, they use, when it comes to the Minnesota Lynx, they're using the NBA team stuff, which is top-notch, right? With the Chicago Sky, they practice at basically a public gym, basically. They practice in Deerfield, which is a suburb of Chicago. And yes, the court that they practice on has the Sky logo on it. But you know, it's a public gym basically. It's like it's a recreation center. So you have like elderly people working out there, and you have kids running. Like it's not a top notch practice facility that you would expect professional players to play at. But because the Chicago Sky is an independent organization, they are not tied to the NBA they're not tied to the Bulls, so they're not able to take advantage of the Bulls practice stuff. And I think that has hurt the Sky when it comes to appealing to top-notch talent. So when you look at some of the teams, I think they have more to offer than the Sky does. Yes, the Sky have Teaspoon. Teaspoon is going to be a phenomenal coach for us. I am very much excited about Teaspoon being our coach. But I think until the Sky is actually able to solidify some sort of practice facility, we're not going to be able to get top talent. We're just not. We're just not going to get it. Maybe for a year or two, you know, we Candace Parker did us a favor by coming back home. And very much grateful for that as a Sky fan. Very much grateful for her helping to get us a championship. But it's hard to get top talent when you don't have a practice facility. Like that was the thing that Candace said when she left. She was like, you know, she didn't have a practice facility, and when she went to the Aces, she had that. She had her own locker room. She had her own, like it was like hers, you know. You know, it's growing pains. The Chicago Sky ownership group, they now seem like they're more willing to spend some money and invest in the club, and we will be seeing some sort of practice thing, whether it's them building their own thing or them having a sort of longer term agreement at a better facility when it comes to practice stuff. So in the future, we will get better. But I think it's just gonna be some growing pains for Chicago Sky fans. So as a Sky fan, I am preparing myself for us to not be good this year. But I think there's gonna be lots of promising stuff that we will see. I am very much excited, very, very much excited for Dana Evans to be point guard number 1 for us. We swung and missed on Skylar Diggins-Smith, but y'all, I'm a huge Dana Evans fan. Have been since she's been with the Sky. She was really good when she was at Louisville. And I got her jersey, you know. I am very much excited for Dana Evans to take over this team as our number 1 point guard. Yes, we were looking for Skylar, but Dana Evans is extremely talented. She's balling in Europe right now. Balling in Europe. And I am very much excited to see future growth from Dana Evans. Our team is Dana Evans and Kamilla Cardoso leading the charge for this team. And Rebecca Gardner. And I am very much excited about those 3 players. They make me excited about the Chicago Sky. Yes, we will not be very good. We will not be very good. So disclaimer for Sky fans out there, don't be too upset. We got a great coach, and she's gonna develop players, and she's going to build something great. It'll take a couple years for us to challenge, but I am, as a Sky fan, I am hopeful for our future. I am very much hopeful. All right, let's see what else y'all got to say. Jerome Mees says, love your content. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. You are you aren't biased and cover a broad variety of women's basketball. Well, I appreciate that. That's what I try to do. Mash 2031 says, let's face it, Phoenix has a Diana problem. I think she oversteps her bounds and has too much influence on decisions. Well, I mean, you kind of get that. You kind of get that opportunity when you are, a generational talent, which is what Diana Taurasi is. She has control over her team in some instance. Pam said, here's what's on Twitter. I know these females want to get paid more, and they're very talented, but so is a famous ping pong player. They're just as talented as they're just as talented as one of the best ping pong. Okay. Well, I guess I need to see the context around this. Because I could see an instance where, okay, well, this isn't a big deal. And I also could see an instance of what, So, Pam, I really do appreciate you for dropping that text in there. What I will do is I will try to watch a couple minutes before and a couple minutes after, or when he said what he said. Yeah, I'm very. I kind of get what he's saying. Maybe. But I need to see context. So I'll go back and take a look at that. But thank you so much, Pam, for sharing that text with us. Appreciate you. M says Trailer and Soul look totally different having played overseas. Yeah, overseas can really help you. Overseas can really, really help you. Cammy said, did you see A'ja Wilson on Draymond Green's podcast today? It was really good, and she talked about the training facilities. I did not see that. I will watch it. Holly says that was a great interview, so yeah, I will watch it. Kyra says NBA affiliations definitely needed to help with the yeah. Absolutely. Mash loves Dana Evans and was a big fan when she was at Louisville. Yeah. Shout out to Dana Evans, man. And y'all, Dana Evans is balling right now overseas. Balling. She plays for a team called Besiktas. And yeah, she's very good. She's very good. So shout out to Dana Evans, PG1 for the Chicago Sky. PG1. All right, y'all. Let me take this off the screen. And Kyra says, shout out to DD Richards. Yes. Shout out to DD Richards. DD Richards is back in the WNBA, y'all. I am happy to see it because I, for one, thought that DD Richards was a great asset to New York. She was drafted to New York, played with New York, and they waived her because, they were building a super team or whatever. But she brought defense. She brought a lot of energy and she brought a lot of attention to the WNBA. Yes, she also could score, but I think for the most part, I think her calling card really, really was defense. So I am very much excited to see DD Richards back in the WNBA. We will see. I believe she's signed to a I believe she is signed to a training camp contract with the Washington Mystics. So, or maybe she's signed for the whole season. Hold on. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do some live fact checking of myself. Yeah. So fact check is over. I have the information. So DD Richards has signed a training camp contract with the Mystics. Also, why did they pick this photo of her? There's better photos of DD Richards that they could have picked. I'm just saying. There's better photos. But yeah, they have signed her to a training camp contract. So fingers crossed that she is able to make the roster. Yeah, shout out to DD Richards. She's on her way back to the WNBA, and that is good to see. That is very much good to see. Pam says about those comments. Yeah, there's more. It gets worse. That's how the conversation started. It's odd he went there. Okay, so I'll for sure take a listen to that. And Mash says maybe that's why he's going to wear Brianna's shoes to save face. I will watch that full clip and for sure share my thoughts about it. Roderick says Didi looks good in that pic. Well, the picture is, first of all, the picture looks low resolution. First of all, like I like it looks grainy. Like there's better photos that they could have picked. There are better photos they could have picked. All right. Nina G says, I think that the energy certain players bring to the locker room and teams can be just as important as what they do in the game. I'm talking Sydney Colson, Didi Richards, Steph Dolson. Good point. Very good point. Yeah, because there's players who affect who garner a winning culture. And that's for sure something that Sydney Colson does to a great extent for the Las Vegas Aces. Is she the most talented player on the court? No. Is she good enough to be on the team? Yes. But what really solidifies her spot, is her ability to affect winning. She and I feel like she talked about this in the past, where she focuses on being the best teammate that she can possibly be. That means making people laugh. That means doing the grunt work. That just means never being a burden to your teammates. She is such a life of the party, and I think that really, really helps this team win. And people could say what they want about Sydney Colson, about whether or not she's good enough or whatever, but she's on the team for a reason, because she affects winning. And that's all teams really care about. They want to win. And if Sydney Colson's going to help them win, they're going to keep her on the team. And she's helping them win. She's helping them win for sure. And she did show up in the finals, though. She had some playing time in the finals and she did show up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, with Didi Richards, same thing. Good culture, like good culture fit. Steph Dolson, same thing. Yeah, life of the party, can come in, bring and give you some good minutes. I'm not saying any of these players are scrubs at all. They're good players, talented players. But I think what gives them the edge is their ability to affect the culture of the locker room. And if you can do that, I think that really, really helps your longevity. Really does help your longevity. JB says, also love Dana Evans. That 2018 Louisville team with Evans and Durr was fire. Yup. Yeah, guys. So that's kind of the conversation, guys. That is kind of the conversation. Let's see. What else should we talk about? Actually, maybe we should just. Okay, it is 9:00. I'm doing a time check. It is 9:00, Central Time, and I do need to order this pizza. Courtesy of all the super chats. Appreciate y'all for giving me this Illuminati's pizza. I gotta order it. And they kind of they y'all know Illuminati is a real pizza place. So they actually cook stuff from scratch. So it takes a while for you to get your food. So you order, and maybe your food will be ready in like 35, 45 minutes. So maybe I'm gonna see about trying to get this thing ordered now. But just want to do a time check on y'all. Probably the max I can do is probably another 10 minutes. But my question is, do y'all want to keep going for another 10 minutes talking about women's basketball, WNBA, or like whatever for the next 10 minutes? Or do y'all want to call it quits for now? What do y'all want to do? Let me know. This is a democracy. Awesome people of the internet, y'all. I want y'all to speak. Let me know what y'all want to do. Let me know what y'all want to do. B Girl 1214 says, I missed the live. Oh man, y'all turn on y'all notifications, y'all. Yeah. turn on y'all notifications so y'all can get these messages. Y'all turn on y'all notifications. All right, y'all. I know that even if you have notifications on, sometimes you may not. Oh man, my I don't know if y'all can hear that. Y'all, my stomach growling. But turn on y'all notifications. And make sure y'all are checking. Make sure y'all are checking for my community posts, because I do post in the community when in the community tab when I'm about to go live. So I do give y'all a warning and then schedule the live stream. So y'all in the future, make sure y'all turn on y'all notifications. I do appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Y'all, this is a Friday night. Y'all could be asleep. Y'all could be out partying. Y'all could be, I don't know, y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all are in these virtual streets with us, the awesome people of the internet. And we I always talk in third person, like I'm more people, but it's just me. But anyway, I do appreciate y'all so much. Hey, this is the inaugural edition of Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout. T-shirts coming soon, swag coming soon with awesome people of the internet. Anybody can got all the awesome sayings. We about to make ourselves known. We about to make ourselves known in these women basketball streets, man. We are here, and we're a force for good. Talking all about women's basketball, WNBA, college, a little bit of high school, a little bit of everything, overseas talk. We do it all. All right, y'all. I am rambling because I am kind of tired and I am hungry. But y'all are telling me in the chat that I need to be going to order my pizza. So I am going to do that. JB says, let us know when your next live is before you go. Well, so let's get into that right now. So I think I will have a here. Let me actually take a look at my schedule, and see when I will be on live next. Good idea, JB, for me to let you all know that now. So when will I go live again? Well, let's see. It depends on the games. Okay, so I may go live. Well, one, we'll have a new edition of Women's Basketball Weekly on Monday, so y'all can look forward to that. I will likely have some clips of today's chat cut up into smaller segments to post over the weekend. So if y'all just join it and y'all didn't watch the whole thing and y'all generally want to know what's going on, I will cut them up into separate clips. People seem to like those, so I'll do that for this weekend. I do plan on talking about awards season. So that's going to be a thing probably in Monday's edition of Women's Basketball Weekly. I will have a live stream for sure next Friday. and likely next Saturday as well, because also on Sunday. So I'll be doing a live stream Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week, because Saturday and Sunday will be a preview of UConn versus South Carolina. The game is on next Sunday on the 11th. So after that game is over, I will do a live stream as well, just sort of recapping that game. On Friday, we will have another edition of Awesome People of the Internet Friday Hangout. So join me back in on Friday. So that for sure will be the next live stream. I may do another live stream. It just depends. That'll be more of a game time decision type thing if breaking news happens or something like that happens. But make sure to check out Women's Basketball Weekly on Monday. I do appreciate y'all. I truly do appreciate y'all rocking with me. I try my best to be extremely informed about what's happening in women's basketball. I don't know everything. I try to know everything. I literally watch this stuff all the time. And sometimes it gets confusing in my head, like what game did I actually watch? Like, because I'm like watching several games at a time sometimes. But I do appreciate y'all. I do appreciate y'all. Country, have a good night. Country says, go Gamecocks. Michelle, I love spending time with you guys as well. I need to figure out technology to eventually be able to have some sort of like thing where you guys can actually come on and either like a video thing where you guys can come on and actually talk, like verbally talk, or some sort of phone call thing or whatever, because I do like enjoy like connecting with you guys via chat, but I think verbally talking would be even better than this. So that is coming soon. I need to just figure out technology stuff, and probably invest in something to make that stuff happen. RC says, quit putting in that work. Like, I don't even know what she says at the work. It's like, it's some of them, like, But anyway, I'm rambling. Let me order this pizza. I appreciate y'all. Thank you all so much for the people who joined in this chat. For the people who gave super chat, shout out to Brian, shout out to Michelle, shout out to Coco, Disfan9212, Nolan, Holly, Michael. I really do appreciate all the people who have given super chats today. It really does help out a lot because ain't no actual money coming through these ads that y'all watch. There's no real money coming from that unless you get in hundreds of thousands and actually millions of views, which it ain't happening. Maybe eventually, but the super chats really do help, and I really do appreciate it. All right, I'm talking too much. Bye, y'all. I hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. Have a safe weekend. Please do something nice for somebody. And until next time, guys. Bye, y'all.